Hey everybody, welcome to A Pop of Culture. I am your host, the Esoteric and Facetious, no relation, and I talk about subjects I'm passionate about relating to pop culture, social justice, the human experience, and how the three interact. From a Black, bisexual, millennial perspective. Everything I say should be taken with a grain of salt, as I'm simply a college student who loves thinking critically and discussing subjects I'm interested in. However, with that being said, my youth shouldn't be your sole reason to critique my views if you disagree, unless it's truly relevant. If you want to debate any points I make, let's have a civil conversation. Feel free to check out my first 4 video essay podcasts and any other videos I make if you're watching this after today's initial upload. Also, feel free to check out and subscribe to my cover channel, A Pop of Culture Sings, which is linked below, linked in the cards, and will also be featured in the channel section on this channel, where I will be covering my favorite songs. I'm a singer and I want to grow my abilities and share my passion with the world through YouTube. I love singing and music, especially throwback R&B music and pop, so definitely check it out if that interests you. New uploads will be made to each channel weekly. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and hit that bell so you're the first to know when I upload new content. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcast or Stitcher and like what you hear, please subscribe to this podcast and give it a 5-star review. It'll help me grow this platform and share a message of critical consumption of pop culture. If you're listening to this on Spotify, please subscribe so you can get updates when I post a new podcast. To stay up to date with the show, you can follow me on Instagram at A Pop of Culture Pod or on Twitter at _Pop of Culture. Today's topic for discussion is if it's appropriate to mix the pandemic with your personal spirituality or religion. This topic is going to be mainly focused on public statements made about the real reason for quarantine. I'm no expert on public health, nor do I claim to be. Side note, A Pop of Culture is available on YouTube and an array of other podcast hosting platforms. So if you want to see other places you can listen to A Pop of Culture, go to the description below and look at the Anchor landing page, and it'll show you all the places it's available. It's disclaimer time. I have the utmost respect for the vast amount of religions and forms of spirituality present within the world. Religion and spirituality can bring peace, resilience, and give people faith that better is to come. Religion and spirituality have been coping mechanisms for people in the worst of times and conditions. Though I am an atheist, I know that religion offers a sense of comfort, community, and purpose for many. However, I do not condone any religion being used to infringe upon others' human rights. End of disclaimer time. I have no ill will towards religions, but one thing that has come to my attention recently has been the idea that the pandemic has some larger spiritual meaning. I see these tweets about how quarantine is really simply a time for us to find ourselves, take a break from daily routines, find new hobbies, and rediscover old ones. One tweet says, "We are currently being stripped of everything we thought we needed so we can focus on what truly matters. This season is about perspective. Now it's PSA time." I don't want my platform to be torture porn for anyone. Some topics I discuss might be triggering to some, or heck, many, so proceed with caution and please take my trigger warnings seriously if you need to. I'm about to talk about some of the impacts of the pandemic, which could be a very sensitive topic for many for a variety of reasons. This was written on April 25th, 2020 for context. I don't think there is anything inherently wrong with someone finding benefits with being in quarantine. Part of resilience is finding that silver lining. I found new passions of mine, tried to adopt some new exercise routines alongside a better diet, made time for my hobbies and interests, and utilized this time to build this platform, have much needed rest and self-reflection, and more. I'm thriving as much as one could be thriving while under quarantine during a global pandemic. However, I'm also a college student living in my parents' home while the university is shut down. Obviously, it's summertime now, but when I wrote this in April, it was school time. Who is lucky enough to work remotely, who has a year until graduation. I'm very fortunate to be in the position I am. That, of course, doesn't mean quarantine hasn't had any adverse effects on me, but I acknowledge that I'm doing fine, and there are plenty of other people who have far bigger concerns in completing homework and deciding between watching Love is Blind or Dancing Queen first on Netflix, as are those who are able to work remotely, who haven't lost their jobs, who haven't been negatively impacted by the pandemic, or who haven't been hit too hard. This is a blessing. However, what I take issue with regard this topic is what I would call spiritual quarantine talk, as I feel it comes from a privileged place. The majority of the people I see online who are tweeting about this self-discovery designed by the divine are people who are not essential workers, who are putting their lives and the lives of their loved ones at risk on a daily basis. They're also not likely people who have either had or lost a loved one to it. If you're curious why I'm not saying that word, allegedly a lot of YouTubers have been getting demonetized for saying that. I literally have 2 subscribers, so I'm not someone who is even eligible for monetization. But if I do, and which I do, I plan and will eventually reach monetization status over time. So I don't want to reach monetization status and be able to be paid for these videos, and then boom, they're all ineligible for monetization. So that's why that's going on. And it's not just about making money. It's also about the fact that, from what I've heard, apparently if a video gets demonetized, it also doesn't get promoted, which means less reach. And I want to get all the reach as a new YouTuber who literally has 2 subscribers right now. So yeah, that's what's going on. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, only 29% of Americans can work from home, including 1 in 20 service workers and more than half of information workers. According to 𝑾𝒂𝒕𝒄𝒉, for Texas, about 27% of workers with no college degree can work from home, whereas 57% of workers with college degrees can work from home. So of the fraction of workers who can work from home per worker with college degree, the fraction is almost twice the fraction for workers with no college degree, and income makes a big difference. So what we're seeing is people who had the privilege and means to get a college degree are more likely to have jobs where they can work remotely, which means less necessity to leave the house except for essentials, which could lead to less exposure to other people who have in comparison to essential workers. Obviously, nurses and doctors are college educated, but of course they are essential workers, and it's likely other college graduates are essential workers in some fields. I'm just discussing general trends. Wait for it. Job layoffs surged 35% to the highest level to start a year in a decade. Job layoffs hit 190,410 in the first quarter, a 35.6% increase over the previous year and the worst first quarter since 2009, according to Challenger, Gray & Christmas, which is an outplacement firm. Outplacement firms are a support service provided by some organizations to help former employees transition to new jobs. The point I'm trying to make is quite simple. People are out of work. People are dying. People are falling ill. That doesn't mean we can't find benefits in our current circumstances, but implying that this situation was put in place so we could be reminded of the power of a God is insulting. Someone's mother, brother, father, sister, wife, husband, aunt, uncle, cousin,
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb,
friend died so that your God could be glorified, so that we could become more attuned with the earth. Like I said, there is nothing wrong with making the best out of this time where a lot of things are far from ideal. However, one must ask the question, why must someone's all-powerful God have to create a disease to get people to focus on him? How are those who have died or those who are now dealing with funeral arrangements for loved ones supposed to focus on anything but their grief and affording the expenses of the funeral services and a much more grim task? Who is to attend with limits on a guest? This is the first time many people have experienced anything like this in their lifetime. So if this was the requirement for people to understand and worship God, why is that so? Is this God not resourceful enough to come up with a less damaging way to encourage increasing worship? How morally corrupt would that be? As of April 27th, 2020, 207 𝘎𝙬𝙗𝙗 deaths have occurred, according to worldometer.info, which now on June 24th is actually over double that, 483,656. Though the recoveries, according to the stats, greatly outweigh the deaths. I feel like people who are making statements about the benefits of quarantine must realize that this time might have allowed you to spend more time with your significant other or kids, to pull out that old keyboard and get back to practicing, to lose that extra 15 pounds. However, many have lost more than those pesky few inches off their waist. And you might as well. Have your fun, relax, gain whatever spiritual enlightenment you're seeking. But don't forget that the real reason for quarantine is a pandemic that has killed hundreds of thousands and had deadly consequences in terms of lives and finances. It will take time and effort of many for us to recover fully from. And that's all I have to say for now. Thanks so much for listening to an episode of A Pop of Culture. Make sure to tune in next week for new content. I'm actually going to be posting a new series called Is XYZ Problematic? And we're going to be starting with everyone's favorite YouTube performer, Black queer man, 𝘎𝙁𝙗𝙗𝙗. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video, and comment down below. What are some ways you've made use of being in quarantine? I can't wait to see your answers to this question and post my own. Let's have a discussion in the comments below. I'm going to pin my comment with my answer so we can get the discussion started. Let me know what you think of this video essay podcast and any other topics you'd like to see. For updates, you can follow me on Twitter at @_popofculture, Instagram at @apopofculturepod, and on TikTok at @apopofculture. Oops, it actually appears that I got cut off with that because when I'm editing, I put a few different videos together. So my TikTok is @apopofculturesings. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, thanks for making it to the end of this video. To your left, you'll see a playlist with more video essay podcasts from me to check out as they're released. In the center, you'll see a button where you can subscribe if you haven't had a chance to already. And to your right, you'll find a playlist of all of my covers to listen to binge watch, whatever you want to do. If you'd like to support me, if you'd like to support the show, feel free to leave a tip. My Cash App is linked below. There is no pressure, but all people who donate will be featured in the credits of all of my videos. Thanks for your time. Love you all. Bye.